am I? Big question. My name is Karis O'Hara and I'm a DJ and producer, born and raised in London, Camden Town. I produce a number of different things. I have a history in drum and bass and future garage and mainly bass music. But I have also a taste, considering my sort of history with playing disco and house, a taste for French house and yeah, great house classics really. I love any music that really engages people and makes them feel something. And I love to sort of move dance floors through, I guess, sound and sonics. One of the best shows I've ever played that I really enjoyed, and it felt like high intensity. I used to be the resident for Leeds Festival for a stage called Piccadilly Party, and it's 10,000 kids and the stage is open till 6 in the morning, and there's a real family that there's loads of us that sort of play, and we play at different times, whatever. And it was the last night, and this must have been, I think it was 2017. It was the last night and I was playing, I think about 2 or 3 in the morning. I'd gone and watched Andy C play earlier in the night. He's a drum and bass DJ and producer. And so I went onto the stage, and it's nerve-wracking because it's 10,000 people in the middle of the night, and you can play whatever you like. So it's like a bit of this, a bit of that, a bit of disco. And I was playing everything from like disco to Arctic Monkeys to a bit of drum and bass to even a bit of reggae, you know, and just taking it wherever I wanted to take it. And it was just, it was such an experience, and I just remember just the energy of just not just me, but also the crowd. And it was just like every track, it was like gasoline. It was like pouring gasoline on the crowd. Everyone was going mental, and when you have that, like before you even go on, it's so nerve-wracking because you're like, oh God, I've got to get the nerves, and you just go straight in. And yeah, I think that's probably one of the best sets I've ever played. And my sister was side stage, and she was like, Karis, that was amazing. And everyone was like, SYCK! You're turning around and the sound guys were like this, and it was great, you know? So yeah, I'd probably say that's probably one of my favourite sets I've ever played. The first record I ever remember going, this is the coolest thing I've ever heard. I was about 3 years old, it was Saturday afternoon, holding my aunt's hand outside Camden Town, outside Sainsbury's in Camden Town. And I had Thomas the Tank Engine gummings, I remember this so well. And this boy racer car comes and stops at the traffic lights. And all I heard was, I got the power! And it was snap. And I remember just being about 3 years old going, what is that? And it was just blasting out, and it was like commanding respect of everyone around you. And yeah, I just remember thinking, that's cool. And off the back of that, I always got like the Now CDs, but I always loved dance music. And probably one of the first dance acts I really got into was Prodigy, and then it was Daft Punk at the same time. The first Daft Punk record, Homework, is just, and I think that's really where it started. And then when I was about 13, I went to my first under-18s rave, and yeah, I went to my first under-18s rave, and it was DJ EZ and Wookie, and it was great, yeah. Any DJ to go back to back with? Actually, Andrew Weatherall would probably be the person I'd want to go back to back with, because he's, as a DJ and artist, he was very eclectic in his music taste, and he would play a bit of everything. I'm a bit of an astrology and tarot reader. Not many people know that. So I can spin the decks and read your fortune if you want. Yeah, I could read the crowd. Right, words to describe myself. Oh my God. Fun would be one. I hate that word bubbly. Who uses that word? But I'm not bubbly. I like to be fun. Spiritual, artistic, and my DJ style eclectic, lo-fi bangers. So I've been with SYCK for just over a year now, and my experience has been wonderful. I've ended up playing in venues where I get to really express who I am as a DJ without the constraints of having to be too top 40 with what I'm doing. And there's a space for everything, you know. So you can have a space where you're playing records that you really enjoy and you can crowd please. And the venues I play are so beautiful. I mean, look at this place. It's like stunning. So not only am I playing in venues which are adorned with beautiful art everywhere, but just stunning, I get to play really great records. I think all great DJs, not saying that I'm great, but I think that I've done my dues. I've played a long time, so I think the best DJs are always people that can walk into a room and can sort of feel people out and sort of throw things where they go, oh, I think this will engage those people and grab those people in. Because I think all DJs really, we're there to channel and create memories. Music to me is probably the most important thing in my life. I grew up in a sort of family of musicians, so to me, music is in my blood. I've played in bands, I've DJ'd for about 13 years now, and I've always sort of gravitated to other people that are enthusiastic about all musical genres. Music is probably the most important thing in my life, actually. I actually think it's more important. Like, I was thinking this the other week, like, would you rather, lose your eyesight or your hearing? And I think if I lost my hearing, I'd be depressed. My favourite 3 records at the moment would be Daphne's sizzling EP, Stardust, Music Sounds Better With You. Maybe because that started a lot of things for me when I was 14. As a record, I think there are certain records I've never got bored of playing, and I've played them over and over and over again. And every time I play it, it's just lush on the ears, and that would be Music Sounds Better With You by Stardust. And yeah, I think that there was this meme where it had an apocalyptic ending, and there was a guy driving, and it goes, if this was the last tune ever played, what would it be? And then it has this guy driving, and it goes, and it comes out with Stardust, Music Sounds Better With You. And I was like, yeah, that's what I'd be playing. That's literally, I'd be like, right, last song on earth, that would be it. I do art, so I think it would be a case of probably doing my screen prints and painting and doing that. But I do that anyway, so, I just have to have a creative outlet. If I wasn't just doing music, it would be art, maybe it'd be film. I covered for a friend of mine for a sex party and I didn't know. I had no idea. And everyone was in sort of these masks, and it was in this massive hotel. And I went into changing rooms and they were spray painting loads of beautiful men, and they were totally stalkers, and the women too. And I thought I'd walked into the wrong dressing room. I was like, oh God, I'm so sorry. I was so British about it. And they were like, no, this is the dressing room. It's just, don't worry. And I was like, okay. I was like, cool, okay. There was a man in a little hat and his steel cap boots, completely naked. And the funny thing is, that one guy that came and stood in front of my desk and was like, yeah. I was like, okay. I saw him years later and he went, I remember you. And I was like, I remember you. But I had no idea. It was for a sex party. Being present in the moment with whatever I'm doing probably brings me the most joy. Post-COVID, for me, the most important thing is to try and find happiness in the smallest moments day to day, because that leads you to end up having a happier life. I've been DJing, well, it'll be 14 years now. I still haven't played Fabric, so that's So that's where I'm going to end up at some point. Yeah, I've done. Yeah, that's on my list. Absolutely, it's already happened. It's already happened, and also Fold as well. Fold as a club is just amazing. So I think Fold and Fabric are the places I'd like to play. I think for me, as a DJ, I see myself sort of being a channel and having a spiritual experience of what I'm doing every time. Even if it's 2-3 people in the room, I'm like, right, okay, where am I going with this? And as soon as I get myself mentally into sort of a meditative state where I feel like, yeah, this is how I want to go with it, that's when sort of time moves. If I'm doing CDJs, 3-deck mixing, it would be techno and drum and bass, but vinyl for me is such a beautiful format. And this is a new thing for me. I've only been playing vinyl really for about almost 2 years now. And I just enjoy how it feels. I love the fact that it can kind of go a bit wrong. You know what, I'm gonna have to say Flashback Records in Islington. So Flashback, I used to work there for a bit. Yeah, I used to clean records and grade them. So I had my own little collection of sort of psychedelic records at home, and some garage stuff actually. But I got into, obviously, vinyls through working there and picking up bits and pieces of jazz, and yeah, so Flashback in Islington.